Hello everybody and welcome to Wine Library TV. I'm your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and I think you can tell already it's going to be a fun episode because not only do we have 5 wines, but we have Master Sommelier Richard Betts with us to explain a pretty cool project. And you know, we've decided a long time ago, and you know, obviously you can tell his shirt is really cool, but we're going to only bring cool people on WLTV at this point because I feel uncomfortable with non-cool people. Not that I'm cool, but that's a different story. So, Richard, first and foremost, thanks, man.
Thanks for having me here.
It's really good to have you. Why don't you let the Vaniacs know a little bit about what you do, a little bit about yourself, and then a little bit about the project.
Yeah, absolutely. The Vaniacs, I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I live in Aspen, where we grow no wine. I do
Not
yet. Yeah, global warming, we'll see. I do the wine program at the Little Nell Hotel, which is awesome. It's a great place to. I have the best wine job in the world, man. I wine job lotto.
Whoa.
Totally. I do.
Go ahead.
It's unreal. You know, we're busy for 6 months and we play for 6 months. You know, it's nice. And we live in a pretty special spot.
And I do email for 6 months at a time straight. So
that's
it's
awesome.
the same thing. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So, yeah, that's where I live. That's what I do. And we still serve it up there every night, except for tonight, because I'm here. And at one point along the way, just wanted to, you know, what is it? You know, it's easy to like read about it in a book, right? You take grapes, they have sugar, the yeast eats it, it makes carbon dioxide and alcohol. But, you know, like how do you actually do it? And so we wanted to jump in. And for me, you know, I'm very much from the place where wine's a grocery. It's not a luxury, you know? And I think that's really important. I know it's an original stupid Richardism, but it's one that makes a lot of sense to me. I learned to drink wine when I was living in Italy. You poured it out of a pitcher into a tumbler. It was always on the table, right? And that's good living, you know? It's on the table at lunch, it's on the table at dinner, but it's on the table, and that's cool. And the table's not set unless it's there. And so for me, I really wanted to figure out, like, you know, how do we do that? How do we actually, like, make it? How do we get into it and you know, enjoy it for ourselves? And, you know, we're not making wines for anyone other than us, you know? They're all small. If no one likes them, you know, no one wants to buy them, I'll drink them myself, and I'm prepared to do it.
That's commitment.
Oh, totally.
That's commitment.
Absolutely. And so we just jumped in.
Tell me how, you know, how many Master Somms in the U.S. are there?
There are 70 some of us in the U.S. and 120 in the world.
So not too many. And so how did that happen? What made you go down that course?
Down that course, I've always been a great procrastinator. It's my best skill. And I found, you know, along the way when I started doing things I love that you know, it's just easier to do them, right? You do better at it. And when it came to wine, I came to it very late. You know, finished a graduate degree and I was on my way to law school and totally pulled the plug and hopped in. It's like, okay, so I want to do this, but you know, I need a course to follow.
Some structure.
Yeah, some structure. And it's not like they teach you. It's just like, here it is. This is the world of wine. Now you go and figure it out and come back to us when you're ready.
It's a pretty intense course.
It's awesome, though.
Yeah.
You know, you just eat it up.
And the family of it is really cool. I have a lot of sommelier friends in the city, and it's cool for me to see how the interaction, the family of it is really intense.
It is a real family, absolutely.
Very.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it is nice. I think that's the best part about wine altogether.
Totally.
And how did you meet your partner, and how did that end up happening?
I met Betts&Scholl in Aspen, and we just hit it off, became friends, and then our families became friends, and Dennis is a big art fan and helped my wife along with some of her endeavors. And one day, actually, when I was cooking this project up, I was showing him where to find mushrooms in the hills above Aspen.
Nice.
Yeah, good mushrooms there. And I was describing the project, and we weren't finding any mushrooms, and he's like, well, you know, I think I want to do that with you. I was like, well, then let's do it. And we did.
And just like that.
Voila.
Awesome.
Happened.
Okay, so now what's real interesting before we get into wines, and you can see I'm just sitting here, tremendously charismatic guy. As a matter of fact, this show may become this after a while. Hopefully I can hang in there a little bit. This is an interesting concept because these wines do not come from one specific country. So tell everybody a little bit about that part of this. Because what we're tasting today, just so you know, is some wines from Australia, some wines from and some California wines, but
and France,
and from the Rhone. So we've got 3 different countries with one label. So it's a very intriguing. There are a couple things starting to happen like this in the wine industry. I was telling you off camera that I think you're going to see a lot more of this. It's intriguing. What is your biggest reasoning for doing wines from all over the world at this point?
You know, for us, there's 2 great things about the world having 2 hemispheres. Is, you know, one, you can do one thing and another, you know, whatever. So when it's spring and the mountain closes in Aspen, I go south. It's fall down there. So we started in Australia, and that's where we got it going. And once we got that going, we thought, well, you know, let's look up north and see what we can do. And so we found France and California almost simultaneously. The nice thing is they're about a month apart. So this past fall, I went and lived in France for a month. We went and did it there, and then flew to California, did the same thing. But, for us, it's always been like, what do we love? What tastes great to us? How do we get involved in that? And so it's really just chasing those things. Like I love Australian Riesling. I love Riesling from all over the place, but particularly Australian, because it's kind of, I think if Riesling's really going to catch on in a big way, it's going to be with Australian. There's no difficult language to get into it. It really is refreshing. We're just trying to make sort of the margarita of wine, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Knock it back, smile, whatever, and it's fun, but they've got great old vines and a great place to do it. And then similarly, love Sera, and that very much approach. We were talking earlier about the Grenache and how it resembles Pinot. I think Sera too appeals to your Pinot sensibilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's your sensibility that are, for things that are soft and seductive and sexy, all the good S words, right?
I like a lot of S words.
I like S words
Super
too.
Bowl, which we're well on our way to getting. We'll talk about that later. Go
Nice.
ahead.
And so we find our way to the Rhone, where I think, Hermitage is a place where,
Absolutely.
The energy there is intense. But
Everybody knows what I feel about the Rhone. So, all right, before this becomes a 2-hour epic, let's get into the wines. I'm going to start with the Betts&Scholl 2006 Edna Valley Riesling. And let me do this. How we doing? Good? There we got the label. And so most of the, let me pour you a little bit.
Thank you.
These 5 efforts right now are not in stock. Most are on order for us, so we don't have them yet. We highly recommend you getting on these guys' mailing list as well. We'll talk about that kind of stuff later. This is a $29 US suggested retail, so, not going to go yelling at you and telling you this is the steal of all Rieslings. This is a nice price, good heavy price point for a Riesling, but let's see what we think. Now, not many of these wines have been scored, and you're going to have to repeat it. I hate that I didn't get it on camera. I asked you, what are the scores? Because obviously we like to tell you that kind of stuff, and how did you reply to that?
You know what? We don't make the wines for Robert Parker, but we make them for us.
I just thought that was, killer. Obviously, that's, a great thought process, and obviously, just a good way to look at stuff. So, anyway, let's give this a little bit of a
Trust your
whirl.
own palate, right?
Oh, I talk about that quite a bit. Quite a bit. Now, the one thing I noticed right off the bat on the nose is a little bit more of like that sugar cane smell that I sometimes get,
Nice.
that a lot of people don't use on Riesling, but I get a lot of time from the southern hemisphere areas.
Mm-hmm. I like that sugar cane. Nice.
Right?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
I really like that. This has got a great nose, very complex in the nose. Clear-cut flavors of like a little bit of melon coming through as well. Tiny hints of pineapple, a little mango aspect as well. Tell me a little bit about this Riesling, and Eden Valley is, is the great place for Riesling.
Eden for Riesling, as it were. Voila. This comes from a 50-year-old vine vineyard that grows on basically solid granite. It's amazing. It's an amazing spot. And I think, for us, we're not trying to, we think we're in great places all the way along, but it's not a matter of, who are we as winemakers? It's a matter of like taking, how do you make a great tomato salad? You take a great tomato, you slice it, maybe some salt and olive oil, and you're done. But if you don't have a great tomato, you can't make the great tomato salad. And the same thing here. So we picked the Riesling, 3 passes through the vineyard, put into little bread baskets, only 1 cluster deep, refrigerate it, whole bunch press it cold, and just let it be whatever it is, whatever that vineyard has to say.
Stay true to what it is.
Exactly.
Let the terroir sing for itself.
Voila.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, great acidity coming through in this wine. Granny Smith apple, like the core of a Granny Smith apple. Really great. I'm getting a little heat on the finish. Do you expect that to kind of subside over time, you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe not, right?
Yeah. I also get
What
a
is
little
the
minerally kind of grip here. I think it's 12 and a half.
12 and a half, yeah. It's getting a little bit more than maybe I would have expected, but yeah. I mean, the minerality of what Riesling is, and we've become huge Riesling heads on
Nice.
WLTV. We've done a couple different things. It's become huge for us. I like this wine a lot. There's got a lot of complexity to it. It's very rich. It's got a little bit more body too than a lot of the Rieslings that I've had in past. This is good stuff. I mean, I'm going to have to score this 90 points. Probably would have scored it 91 points if he wasn't here. I want to kind of give him a little bit of a dig. Again, for $30, I'm not going to say that's, go run out and grab your mom's purse and steal her money and go buy the first bottle you can find. But it's an exceptional value, and not a value, exceptional expression of what I think this area of the world has to offer. And I think the pureness and the fact that they did not manipulate it a whole lot is probably the most intriguing part of the wine, because you really are getting true Eden Valley Riesling, which is starting to get, I don't know, you might know this better than I do. I've started been a little bit concerned because I've been tasting some of them and they're starting to feel a little bit manipulated a little bit from the area.
Totally.
All right, let's move on.
Right on.
This is going to be awesome. Now, this is extremely exciting. This is the Hermitage Blanc 2001, which is, you know, at the low, low price. And Kahuna, embrace yourself. Don't get too excited here. But this is $69 US, retail suggestion, which means Wine Library will probably sell for $25, but that's a different story.
Get after it. It's awesome.
All right, so tell us a little bit about this.
So this is one of, you know, I mean, all the partnerships are fun. This is a really fun partnership that, we're doing with the Schaub family.
The Schaubs? Who might that be?
Been in the region for about 600 years, hanging out.
Real quick, if you don't know, you know, the Rhone region at all, Schaub that's the pinnacle. They make arguably, I mean, there's some people who feel they make the best wine in the world, period. So the quality of what those guys do is incredible, and the fact that you're able to work with those guys has got to be obnoxiously exciting.
I pinch myself
all
the time.
It's stupid.
It's
crazy. Anyway, go ahead.
Totally. So
did you just call him and say, "Yo, Richard Betts and the Hizzy, I want to work with you in the Rhone"? Or
where's the shiznit?
That's right.
Bring
Did
it.
you do that or no?
Totally, absolutely.
Are you serious?
No.
No. Okay. I was gonna say that's crazy.
No, they came to the Nell, and the family, we just became
You're
friends.
suckering him in with the Nell, aren't
It's
you?
awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I gotta
I
get a
one job
Nell.
motto, Gary. This is true.
Go ahead.
So we just became friends, and over time, and so I said, you know, the Grenache was done from South Australia, from Australia, and I said, look, you know, we're looking for a Northern Hemisphere idea to do next. You know, and I'm thinking Southern Rhone at this point. So, you know, if you have any friends or anyone that you think might be amenable to it, and I wasn't even asking. You know, I just thought, you know, there's no chance. And so time goes by, and
there's
Aaron,
no. I mean, you couldn't.
I just didn't even think. It's
go
like,
ahead.
go ask Aubert de Villaine.
Yeah.
Can we make some Pinot together?
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
exactly.
Sure. So you about a year goes by, and Aaron Cannonshaw calls me up and said, you know, we've been thinking about your project and what you mentioned. We have an idea. And I was like, great, what's that? And she says, you know, why don't we work together? And your jaw just goes like clunk, and you just kind of pick it up and compose yourself and say yes, right? You know, it's exciting, it's fun. Now you're going to work with friends, and obviously they know what they're doing.
Clearly.
Which is good.
So are these grapes from a vineyard they own, their vineyard?
Some of it's from their vineyard, and some of it's from some other growers that we work with.
Got it.
And, you know, for Jean-Louis and I, it's really a fun project because I think, especially for him, you know, at Chauve, they have, you know, 9 different Climats of Rouge and 5 for Blanc. And every year they work with those to make one wine. You know, it's not quite Champenois, it's blending rigor. You know, it doesn't have to taste exactly the same. But they try to come to the same expression all the time. But there are so many other expressions that can be had on the hill. So this is he and I trying to work together to come up with some other ideas. Like, so for example, with the Rouge, there's no new oak on it at all. It's all old oak.
Wow.
There's some whole cluster where there's no whole cluster.
How many cases of the Hermitage Blanc?
There were 150 the first time, and there are 350 next time.
So this is 01. This is 01 is the first one.
Exactly.
02 is the next one.
04.
Smart. Very smart. 02. I held my breath when I said 02 is the next one. 02, tough vintage. Anyway, let's get into this a little bit. I mean, the honey that's popping is just incredible. Wow, really nice. You really get that honeycomb aspect even more than generic honey coming through. Little hint of like lemon zest that I like quite a bit as well. But you know, once again, I like to always say this, as you guys know, it smells heavy. Nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You get the viscous aspect from the nose.
Totally.
What do you think about this wine? Give us your thoughts on this a little bit.
You know, the thing with Marsanne and Roussanne, the grapes that make this up, they naturally want to be big and alcoholic. And so what you try to do is strive to reel it in, to give it some elegance and give it some grace. It's also they're not grapes that rely on acidity. They rely on glycerin for structure. Mm-hmm. So you want to try to get some minerality and try to make something that's not this big, clumsy thing. But, you know, it's obviously big wine, but it's still graceful. So I think it's like super mineral.
This is
pretty.
This is killing. This reminds me of, you know, taking, you know, a beautiful bluestone and pouring lots of honey on it and taking a bite out of it, because, you know, the bluestone-y kind of rock. Mm-hmm. I talk about licking a rock often, I know, but nice. You know, I get a little bit of that aspect with this wine. This is a monumental effort, actually. I'm actually such in a daze over the Jets trading to get Thomas Jones that I can't give you my exact emotions, because I'm still really, even though I'm here and we're having a great time, totally. That's really what I'm thinking about. But this is one of the more complete white Rhone wine. I mean, this is pretty incredible. Mm-hmm. You guys killed it with this.
We're pretty excited.
This is exciting. This is extremely explosive, great mid-palate. the grip from the mid palate to the finish is extraordinary. You can tell this is a well-made bottle of wine. It's drinking great now, and you can just look at it and say to yourself, this is 10, 15 years easy if you want. I'm dying for it to mellow out and change over time. I'm going to have to score this wine 94 plus. I think this is a remarkable effort. I give you kudos. 70 bones, I mean, again, it becomes that quality price ratio. However, for all of you out there who really enjoy great white Burgundy or spend your big bucks on California Shards, this is a different style. And really, to me, with the way Chave is priced and some of the other Chapoutier wines are priced, you know, I never want to say $69 is a value, but to me this is a value in the area and a very exciting wine and definitely should be seeked out.
Right on.
Let's move on.
Merci.
Okay, now we're going into this, which does have a score, and this is the first wine you made.
Very first wine.
So this is the Betts&Scholl Barossa Valley Grenache 2001, $29 US, and 89 points from the Wine Spectator we see. And so let's give it a little rinse, if you don't mind. Give me the Jets bucket. Oh, I almost spilled it on myself.
Don't do that.
Nope, don't want to do that. I might have to drink it for one episode. Okay.
That would be intense.
Yeah. How many cases of this were produced?
400.
Okay.
Our very first effort. It was this effort that Food Wine Magazine called us basically the hottest new winery in the world for 2004 when we let it out.
Was pretty exciting, huh?
We had no expectation, completely floored us.
You were expecting to drink it all at the restaurant.
Off the hook, I did, totally, or
right?
at my home, you know. But this is what got us to Australia. Grenache is totally out of vogue down there. You know, it's not a dark-skinned varietal. It doesn't, if you really heavily oak it up, it just tastes like oak. It doesn't taste like what it is. We really believe that this is the warm climate analogy of Pinot, and that's why we went there. Youngest vines in that bottle are 80 years old. Oldest are well over 100. And these are vineyards that no one cares about. I mean, they really
Give it a little smell
care.
to this. This has got the,
Here it is.
you know, that little petrol action that's going on when you go to...
It's fun to check in with this. I haven't had one of these in at least a year.
Pretty cool, right?
Oh, it's totally cool.
Especially when it's got your DNA in it, right?
I love that.
Yeah. This is a different kind of nose. I mean, you know what's funny about this wine? And tell me, obviously being the big expert you are, I mean, I like to...
Enthusiast, not expert. Enthusiast.
Understood. You get some of that spearmint, peppermint kind of nose aspect.
Totally.
What word do you use for that? I mean, is that what you use?
Yeah, spearmint, peppermint.
Do you know what I mean?
Eucalyptus for sure.
Sure, no doubt.
So, I mean, eucalyptus trees are everywhere. They call them gum trees.
Yeah. I mean, this licorice. I mean, you get
Totally.
you get a lot of that, and you're getting a lot of that in this nose. But you're also getting a little bit of that petrol aspect. And I can see a lot of people, even who are maybe just getting into wine, looking at this and being like, "What's wrong with this wine?" Because you get that. Yeah, it's a funkster. You get a little funky on it. A little Earth, Wind, and Fire in here.
We like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Of course.
September, especially in September.
Yeah.
This is, we looked to Chateauneuf for how to do it. This was fermented in an open cement tank, open to the sun, the moon, the stars. The bees fall in it. Literally, the cap's filled with bees. If it rains, if they spread fertilizer next door, whatever. I mean, it's just, that's part of what makes it what it is. It's all old barrels. Youngest barrel, 7 years old. Youngest. So no new oak, no American oak, and it sat there for 26 months. Just, really looking to France for how to, treat it as it should be and just sort of get out of the way.
Sure.
Like, this is something special.
Let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of very dried, sour cherry flavors coming through, which you all know I love a lot. The heat's coming through for me on this wine as well a little bit. I know that could turn off some people on that. I think this might be a little bit higher, 14.9.
It's hot down there.
It's hot down there.
Two ways about it.
Yeah, can't avoid that. I find it to be, finding its way still. I'm thinking, I'm not sure if it's, in its. Have you been tasting this along the way? Now, where do you find this in its progression right now?
It's about where it was when we bottled it.
Yeah, so it's been staying pretty much the same course.
I actually think, that they'll have some longevity. Wines don't have to be big.
Sure.
To have longevity. You just have
and
to have balance.
And this is a medium-bodied wine. I mean, nobody's
like
going.
Pinot.
Yeah. Right, absolutely.
Exactly. But think of all the great old Burgundies we get to drink.
Absolutely.
What did those start their lives like?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a solid effort. Maybe not something that's going to destroy me and change my life. I think, Spectator's 89 is pretty fair. For me, it probably falls more into an 88-point effort. I think it's a solid effort. I mean, obviously, being your first wine, I'll give it an 88 instead of an 87. Thanks, but buddy. That all being said, it's a wine that, it's one of those things where when you review wine, it's so tough when maybe something doesn't sing to you, but you know it's being so pure and true.
Totally.
You know, and though I use points, and I'm still not a big hater of points as many people are, sometimes points don't always tell the story from that standpoint.
Sure.
But you know that's the way it is, and we're gonna move on. So let's move on. This label, I love this label.
No, listen.
This is the Black Betty Shiraz from 2005.
Bam Balam.
And the label's killing. And while I'm talking about the label, why don't we talk about labels? You guys have all sorts of different labels, and I think there's something pretty cool about them, so why don't you tell them why I rinse for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my partner, Betts&Scholl, is a big patron of contemporary arts. We both love art. It figures prominently in our family's lives, which is, part of our compass. Absolutely. And so for us, we didn't go out and choose Cabernet and Chardonnay, the most commercially viable things you could do. We're just like, look, we're going to make wines we love, and if people come along with us, and then they come, which is great. And it's been nice that people have come with us. And in keeping with that, we wanted to put art on the label that, is also something that we love. So it's just juxtaposing two loves and what have you. We basically give the artist the wine, they give us, hello.
Sorry.
Yeah. See, we're 5 vintages in here. We're learning as we go. So this is a matter of, just putting two things together we love and just letting it roll, If it makes us smile.
This is a suggested $69 retail kahuna. Once again, stay calm. And here is where it gets real interesting. And I've used this analogy before. I hope he is okay with this. This has something I adore, which is pickle juice.
I knew you were going to say that.
You did?
Love it. Absolutely.
Are you serious?
Totally.
This smells like pickle juice.
I
mean, God, I love that. I love it. It's got a lot of pickle.
Yeah, which is pretty funny, because pickles were
I've seen that happen, but I've seen that happen a lot with New World Shiraz sometimes, especially when it's really new. Is this the first time this is in U.S. soil? What's going on with this? You told me you just had this.
Yeah, so this was bottled 8 days ago. We put it on a FedEx and hoped that it was going to make it to America, because sometimes I get pinched at LAX. They keep them.
So obviously, the whole bottle shock factor could be a factor here. These wines will not open as long as I'd like. I got a little bit caught up today, and so the wines have only been open for 40 minutes or so. So that's a factor, especially with big boys like this. But boy, is this singing pickles. And nobody's a bigger fan of pickles than me, and we know that, Jason Hicks. Jason Hicks, where are you, by the way? Everybody wants a little mashup, don't we, Chris? I mean, we're like a long time since a mashup. While I'm on that, I want to talk about two things that have nothing to do with anything that we're doing right now. Number one, I'm throwing some links up. As we know, Eric Kastner, big part of what we do here, is going to Alabama to build a home. It's called Raise the House. So we've kicked some dollars in. Some Vaniacs have done in the past. I'm going to give a link right now because he's leaving tomorrow. Anybody that wants to throw a couple bones at Eric for a deed that he's using his vacation time to go build a home, it's pretty cool, dude. It's really amazing. That's number one. And then just to show you what kind of jerk I am, after Eric does that, here's what I'm about to tell you. I made the semifinals for best looking vlogger on this website.
Right
so showing where Eric and I are, where Eric's priorities are, and where mine are. But that being said, I'm competitive, and there's this guy that has like a YouTube following like you would not believe. So I don't think I'm gonna win, but it's really up to you guys. I just found out you can vote every day too. Wink, wink. So huge link right over here. Come on, I need to win this. I'm that shallow, and more importantly, I don't want this YouTube guy to win because he's wearing a dumb hat. He's probably a Bears fan. Speaking of Bears, obviously we all know that the New York Jets ripped off the Bears last night. As a matter of fact, the Chicago Tribune said this is the first time in NFL history where a running back with back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons was traded for a piece of fax paper. So obviously I'm very excited about that. And what better time, and follow me, Mott, now, what better time than to announce the Chicago Wine Library TV party than right here, right now. So I will be in Chicago on April 20th, Friday night. Tim F. is going to help me organize it, I think. And we're going to have a third link for you, Mr. Mott, to put up today. Anybody who's going to be in, we need to see you in there. We need a spot. Chicago's a big territory for us. We get a lot of emails, so we're probably going to need a big place. April 20th, Friday, I'm in Chi-Town. We can talk all about the wonderful trade. Let's move on.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
05, Black Betty.
Black Betty.
God, what a nose.
Yeah, fun, huh? So, what, this is kind of interesting. We had been passing on the Shiraz, and everyone down there wants the Shiraz. And they say, if you want the Shiraz, you got to take the Grenache. And we'd just been taking what they didn't want. Finally, we had to try our hand at it. So half of it's done in, again, 7, 8, 9-year-old French barrels, and half of it's done in something my partner almost killed me for. I stuck some very expensive Darnajou barrels on a boat and brought them down there, and oof. But we stuck half of it in there, and it's good.
This is
digging it anyways.
A lot of dark chocolate flavors on the finish,
Totally.
which I'm really enjoying. This is interesting. Everything about it says New World Fruit Bomb explosion in your face, punch you, knock you out, except the finish. Just stops and gets, you almost get a little bit of dill, and you get a little bit of like green pepper mixed in with that dark chocolate. This is a double bubble. The chocolate's there. The double bubble factor of this wine is huge, and what we talk about with double bubble is Old World fans, you're going to be happy. Not in the beginning, but you'll finish strong. New World fans, you're going to love it all the way through. This is a massive effort. This is a very good bottle of Shiraz. I'm going to score this wine 92 plus, and I think it's got potential for more. Again, I'm wondering what would happen with a settled bottle in the market for 6 months. I'm going to definitely need to seek that out. Maybe I'll go to Aspen and check that out.
Right on.
All right, let's move on, because I know
happen.
this is running long. Chris, where are we at this point? Yeah, we're going long. This is going to be like epic.
Go
okay.
long.
Go exact. What a label, too, by the way. All right, tell me about Jesus. So we're pouring some syrup right now.
Indeed.
This is some thick stuff. He's going to rinse this.
Totally.
So tell me, I will. So tell me, a lot of interaction, a lot of stuff going on here today. All right, Betts&Scholl, 2004, California Sera.
We did this one with Randy and Debbie Lewis. Some of my greatest friends on earth. Nobody's more fun.
I mean,
So
absolutely
fun.
phenomenal people. Obviously, a lot of you people know what, viewers know what we're talking about, the Lewis brand, which is so legendary in California. Now, you call it California Syrah. Why not go more designate? You obviously had to get grapes from different places that didn't allow you to.
Well, you know what? We could have called it someplace specific, but we're just sort of still feeling our way. And
Okay.
for me, it's just Cali, man. It's just Cali. It's very simple. And we're just trying to find, I'm a big believer in Rhone varietals, obviously, as you can see, but specifically in California. I think that that's really, something that can be very special there. And so I want to give myself the freedom to play. I also want it to be kind of playful. It's not, no offense to any of the people that really feel like they found Grand Terroir in California. And there's certainly some great spots.
No question.
Montebello, Pritchard Hill, what have you. But it's not quite as well understood as it is in France, where they've only had several millennia of a head start. So here, I think what is California great for? It's great for its sunshine, man. You can ripen anything there. Cold climate stuff next to warm climate stuff, and for me, it's just like, let's find something I think really likes the climate, and maybe find a place where it's synergist, and just bring it out. Let it roll.
Awesome. So this is also a $69
$69
retail, which is he's here, but I'm gonna have to say it, really darn expensive for a Syrah from Cali. How many cases did you guys make?
There were 89 six-packs of this and 250 cases of the next.
Got it. So obviously you can see they're not scared of the price because he'll drink it himself. If nobody
will
wants
drink
to
it
buy
myself.
That's right. Let's give it a whirl. A lot of New World fruit coming. I get a little bit of an oatmeal on the nose, which is really wild to me. Kind of caught me really hard.
Nice.
And also black raspberry, blackberry, a lot of dark fruits, more so, a little more on the dark black fruits than the red fruits on this nose. Yeah,
definitely.
Really, really nice. And this is seeing a lot of oak or new oak or
half old, kind of old, 1-year-old Chardonnay barrel, and one brand new Darnage barrel.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you're not skimping on the barrels. It's a big place for the wines.
Yeah, I think that, where the Grenache sees no new oak, that's a great place for it. It's more like Chateauneuf. This is something that I think just wears it well. You don't want to do the same thing to everybody. This is just, this is what it is. It's Cali, man. Right? Let it roll.
This is the point of the show where the Old World fans need to go to the bathroom and check out for a few seconds, because this is completely coat your palate, black ink, take the purple paint, throw it in your mouth. This is completely covering my palate. You're going to have to eat a wild boar, like live, to, match with this wine, because this wine is that massive. This is, what vineyards is this coming from? This is really explosive
It's a
stuff.
blend of vineyards. There are actually 4 different vineyards from Carneros all the way up to Pritchard Hill.
Got it. Great licorice coming through as well in this wine. Great complexity. This is, this is the kind of wine that needs to find its home. I think this is a very good effort. I prefer the Black Betty for me. This is more of a 90-point wine for me. Really, really solid effort. And if you're a big Fruit Bomb fan, you're probably going to feel that this is a 93, a 94, a 95-point effort. It's very well structured. It's got a lot going on. A lot. Eucalyptus a little bit in this one as well.
Totally.
But the black fruits are really the predominant wine, and flavors in this wine. A lot of structure. I like the finish too. Out of all the wines, maybe the longest. I'm still tasting it.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, it's just going on, huh? Just
Voila.
that's it.
I like it.
Real good effort. as much fun as it is to have Richard here, I've got to say one more time, you know, a quote from this Jets and Bears trade. One guy said, all Mike Tenenbaum, that's the Jets GM, needs is a ski mask and a knife because it's a heist. I mean, it's a robbery. So I guess today's question of the day, which we do every day, is going to be, what's the best deal you ever got? Because right now, I'm feeling, and I love that we have so many Bears fans watching this show. I'm feeling right now that me and my boys in green got a great deal. Because you and guys like this and a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world. Thanks, though, man.
Thank you. It's awesome.